Okay, so hi everyone, my name is Yasmin Tofia. I'm CEO of Sociate AI and I've created the world's fastest learning AI for fashion with a group of top AI experts. We started the project back in 2020 to solve a problem that we saw emerging around changing behaviors for fashion search and discovery in the world of social media. So I want to tell you a story about the client that came to us. They are a client that targets the 18 to 34 demographic, and the problem they described to me fully encapsulate what it is that we saw coming, which is by the time they are able to catch up with a trend on social media and create shoppable content, it's simply too late. So the future of commerce is social and conversational. So we talked about this, Craig, and we said that in the future, everybody is going to be starting their particular shopping journey either on social media as they are browsing or on a publisher site, or they are going to be starting at a large language model. And we're already seeing this trend. So last year, for example, social commerce, so the shopping journeys that started on social media grew by 300%. We also saw $200 billion of fashion-specific expenditure originating on social media. And if we interviewed 18 to 34-year-old female shoppers, and 60% stated that they buy clothes from social media. So in that context, what retailers and brands are also seeing is a 50% fall in direct and brand search, and this is only going to continue. And so, of course, brands that are not considering this huge shift in customer behaviors are going to be missing out on the majority of digital spending because people are simply not coming to websites anymore. So let me describe to you why this is a problem. The world of social media moves really, really fast. Trends come and go and change every 3 to 5 days, and every day there are new looks, there are new aesthetics, there are new moments. So for example, Alexa Chung steps out in a white shift dress. That's what everybody wants to be buying for the next 48 hours. Cookie Monster Couture as a trend blows up in the morning, and then everybody is looking at content related to Cookie Monster Couture, and of course there are products related to that. Now, when a retailer wants to know what's happening in social media, first of all, they need to be piping all of those trends. So they need to know what's going on in the world. They need to be looking at that. They need to then be identifying the aesthetics related to those trends, those conversations. And then they need to somehow find those items in their inventory. And that in itself is a huge task. So first of all, if you have stock inventory of 10, 20,000 items and you're getting new inventory in on a daily basis, you don't know what's there and you are entirely dependent on your search systems. To be able to search your inventory, you are dependent on the product data, which is a huge project in itself around aligning your products with the right tags. Now, in the world of social media, in the world that we are now, where people want to talk and describe what they are looking for and search creatively, you'll never be able to have all the product tags that you need. And then once you have identified a way of searching and finding those items, which can take several days, you need to spend time manually curating those collections, and then by the time you have published those tags to make those items discoverable, or you've published the content, the trend or the conversation that you wanted to align with and make your products discoverable to has passed. So this particular workflow, retailers and brands are very, very familiar with, and they will also know that to make their items discoverable, they are spending up to £30 per item around the data, the metadata tags. And even in that scenario, up to 90% of items on their platform are never discovered. They're just never found by the people that are looking for them. And this also creates a huge unsold inventory problem. And so retailers like the one I told you about, whose core demographic is that brat summer demographic, who had this huge opportunity to commercialize, they're not being able to realize the opportunity, and year on year you see headlines like this where revenue is falling. So now imagine if you could have an AI that could do all the hard work for you, that it would allow you to be able to know what those social and fashion trends are, and the AI would know itself. It also has personalized styling intelligence, so it knows how the influencers, the tastemakers and trendsetters are pairing and combining items and creating looks. And it allows you as the searcher, whether you are a consumer, you're a marketer or you're influencer, to be able to find those items that might exist in the world in a fully conversational and visual way, without the retailer and brand ever having to worry about their product tags. And so that's actually what Sociate has created. We've created the world's fastest learning AI for fashion, which is learning in real time. And so it can instantly re-merchandise the products that exist in your inventory to the real-time trends and to the conversations that your customers are having. So immediately, what we do is our AI automatically surfaces the hottest trends, whether it is double denim, whether it is, I don't know, fluffy cashmere neutrals, whatever it is, our AI knows about it. It will automatically curate those collections for you to inspire. It also allows you to search completely conversationally and creatively, and it then gives you the most relevant product recommendations without the retailer themselves ever having to worry about their own product data, and it does that in 1 second. And then as a marketer or an influencer, you can spend about an hour creating those collections and publishing to the channels. And what that means is, rather than that 14-day process of educating yourself, finding the items, and then curating and publishing, you do all of that within an hour, and you can jump onto any conversation, any trend, while it is still hot, while it is still current. So let me give you an example or a demo of that within our platform. So what I'm going to show you here is with an example client, Wolf and Badger. I'm going to show you what it looks like if I try to look for an outfit for a girl's trip to Morocco on their website using existing search and the existing internal search capabilities they will have. And as you saw, not great results. Now I'm going to ask our AI, which has exactly the same inventory plugged into it, to show you the results that actually exist in that inventory for that girl's trip to Morocco, and you can see they're much more suitable results. And then our AI allows you as the user to be able to refine however you want. So I'm looking for 2 pieces, I'm looking for bold colors. And I'm looking at that and I'm going, yeah, that's a pretty decent combination, but actually I'm seeing too many kaftans here. So I'm just going to say I don't want to see as many kaftans. And now I have got the collection of items that I'm looking for. So that's an example of a high intent shopper. I'm also going to just show you what happens if you put in a trend that might blow up in the morning. Now, you'd never tag for these items because you don't even know this trend is coming, but the fact that it has come, you want to be able to find those products and to be able to surface them for your customers. Real benefits of our technology and what we've been able to prove is that for marketers and influencers, we can reduce the curation workflows to create shoppable edits that align with trends like Brat Summer from 2 weeks to 4 seconds, which then allows marketers to be able to commercialize the trends and the conversations that their demographic are having. It also allows marketers to be able to do 5 times as many collections in the same period of time. The more collections you can get out there, the more customers that you can touch, the more traffic you can generate for your website. The other benefit that we've been able to prove by putting this AI into search bars to capture natural language searches is an 80% increase in search to purchase conversion. So, for example, where somebody might come onto your website and search for neutral cashmere knits, if something isn't coded or tagged neutral cashmere knits, you won't see those results. With our AI, because our AI knows what neutral cashmere knits are, it can go through the inventory and it can pull those and present those customers with more relevant product recommendations. And then finally, even though you can never tag for all the trends and all the aesthetics that are coming through, we do recognize that retailers do need to have some product data. Our AI is able to tag existing inventory up to 50,000 items within a 24-hour period, which again resulted in a 70% conversion uplift and was able to do the tagging automate the tagging at 90% accuracy, which eliminated up to £30 per item in tagging costs. In order to try our AI for yourself and test the benefits, all we need from retailers is for them to be able to provide a product feed. We can process that into our inventory. We'll set you up in our platform and then you can test until you are happy to deploy it.
Thank you, Yasmin. That was great. I've got 3 questions, if you don't mind me asking. The first one is, no doubt, when you take this to retailers, you get a few objections. They might tell you they can build this themselves, or they've got a solution in place already, but you know yourself that they're probably not the viable solution, because you talked about the speed at which trends are happening and how fast they can respond is what the kind of secret sauce is, or certainly felt like that. So when people object, what are the common objections and how do you normally address them?
Yeah, that's a great question. So yeah, our secret sauce, or what we are really focused on, is moving at the speed of socials and the world outside. So when people talk about the fact that they are using other technologies like Selectica or Lily for trend-based tagging, what we say is you're still not moving fast enough. What's the point in tagging after a trend has appeared? You've already missed the opportunity there, and you're still staying faithful to the workflows that are letting you down and making you too slow. What our technology allows you to do is never worry about the tags that you have for discoverability. So, for example, if Cookie Monster Couture blows up in the morning, you want your customers to be able to find those items in your inventory on that day. And also, you don't want to invest in tagging those items for Cookie Monster Couture because that trend's probably never going to come ever again. And so you need your product and your inventory to be dynamically re-merchandised as opposed to being tagged. And you want to break free from that reliance on tags.
Great, understood. And then what's the most optimal type of retailer that you're taking this to? So what's their type of catalogue and how many SKUs? Because I'm guessing you're not going to go to a shoe store that sells 100 products, right? This is something that needs a reasonable catalogue size with a bit of variety. Is that correct?
Yeah, absolutely. It's all about search and discoverability. And so we're looking at clients with approximately, at least 10,000 SKUs who will be refreshing their inventory on a fairly regular basis, either a weekly or monthly, where it's impossible for marketers, impossible for customers to really know what's in stock. and also the variety in there that can be realigned constantly to new and emerging trends, because you can always style a white t-shirt for different looks. So you do need that variety. So I told you about how important it is to re-merchandise to customer intent, haven't I, Craig? So, for example, my daughter wanted to go to school for World Book Day as Coraline. And so I looked for, on Amazon, a Coraline wig, which is a blue bob. And the results came up, Coraline wig, £20 a pop. And then I thought, but let me just search for a blue bob wig. And it brought up a whole load of results that looked exactly like that Coraline wig, but they were £6. And this is why it's so important to be able to re-merchandise your inventory to high customer intent. Because if I hadn't looked for a blue bob wig and I was looking for that Coraline wig, I would have paid that £20. And so this is what the AI enables. It understands what the customer wants, and then it realigns your inventory to the customer's needs. And this is another way where we've been able to prove value by increasing average order values. Because if you show customers the thing that they really want aligned to their need in that moment, they will be happy to blow their budget.
Got it. And you're working the stock harder as well, right? Because you're getting access to the full catalog. And then my final one is when I'm searching, I'm probably like you. I'm defaulting to a language model now when I'm asking the internet questions. Are you doing also some similar thing? Do you see the future being that you would search for products on a language model? That's where your default starting place would be.
Yes, to a certain point. So I completely believe that people will be starting at language models and they will be searching conversationally. What I am less convinced about are the people that say that we won't want, zero UI, that we will just talk and expect things to be bought to us. When it comes to shopping, when it comes to styling, when it comes to anything related to aesthetics and creativity, we do want an AI. We want to be able to assess visually and feedback in real time. And so what I imagine in 5 years are more I would call it the Iron Man Jarvis style interfaces, where you can talk, you can feedback, you can be as creative as you like, you can move things around, you can really engage with the product, test things, combine it. That's what I think retail will feel like online.
Yeah, so a bit of a fusion between what you do today and what and how
Yeah,
you might use
yeah. You absolutely,
language
yeah,
models.
exactly. You absolutely will not be scrolling through. You will be talking. It will be a two-way conversation. But again, I don't believe in the idea of our technology talking back to us unnecessarily. I hardly ever want to talk to robots. Why would I want to do that as I am shopping for an outfit for my sister's wedding or for an outfit? I just want to be understood, and more often than not, I want to be able to say what it is that I don't want, because as shoppers, sometimes it's very hard to pin down what you do want, but you are very clear on the stuff that you don't.
Final question before we go. What interesting technology have you seen in the world of retail and e-commerce in the last few years that you think might catch on in the future?
So what I really like is this movement towards democratizing influencer marketing, where where anybody can earn based on their shopping habits. One of the companies that I really like, that I've encountered recently, is one called Social They allow consumers, once they have bought a product, and it is only when they have bought a product, so every single review is a genuine review. If they post about it and they hashtag social tip in, the company itself calculates the value of your recommendation or your post through the various data points and algorithms they are using related to the reach of your post, and you can earn money in direct correlation to that, which for retailers is amazing, especially the ones that are reliant on influencer marketing, because I think they are really asking themselves a question: is it better to spend £5,000 on one influencer, or is it better to spend £5,000 on 5,000 individuals? And does that actually get them more authentic and organic reach? And I think the answer obviously is the second.
Yeah, got it. And a longer tail as well. Yeah. Well, thank you for your time, Yasmin. That's been fantastic seeing your technology in action, and good luck in the future with it.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Craig.